Yeah, g'day gang. So Gabs 2019 is over for another year, and yeah, it's the 12th year it's been around. So yeah, pretty big year. No surprises really, unfortunately, when it comes to drinking craft beer. It appears the last 5 or 6 years or 7 years of craft beer, we've noticed a bit of a trend with what's supposedly meant to be the best beer in Australia becoming probably the most popular beer. And what's won today has been the Stone Wood Pacific Ale, which is brewed in Byron Bay, 4.4% Pacific Ale, lightly hopped with Galaxy hops. Pretty simple beer, pretty amazing how it's always managed to remain a pretty positive feature. I know for a fact this is my wife's actual favourite beer. I'd probably have about another 40 different beers that I'd rather drink before I had one of these, but yeah, thought we'd have a look at it since it's always been such a popular beer, and try and maybe work out what all the hype's about and why it's such a popular beer. This beer has won the hottest 100 of craft beers in Australia, like I think probably about 3 or 4 times in the past. It's always a bit of a front runner. The last couple of years previous to this year, it was Bolter's XPA, which is a pretty easy drinking beer as well, almost a bit similar to this. Have a crack at it, see what we think. As you can see, it's quite a it's quite a hazy kind of beer, but not probably what you consider to be a hazy IPA or anything along those lines. Super refreshing, bit of passion for it, not a hell of a lot happening on the palate. Good carbonation, nice mouthfeel, really good drinking on a hot summer's day. Obviously 4.4%, so it's pretty smashable. Price wise, it's pretty crazy. I paid $84 for a carton of this stuff yesterday, and that's with a 10% discount. Yeah, well, way overpriced as well. So yeah, I don't quite understand it. Yeah, like there's so many other better beers. You can get a cube of Biggie Juice for $60. Obviously, it's not independently owned; it's owned by Coca-Cola. But I'll tell you what, in regards to beer at 6%, it's got a hell of a lot more flavour. It's got a hell of a lot more happening on the palate. And I really think that's probably what you sort of, when it comes to outstanding beers for the year, that's sort of more along the lines I'd be thinking. Obviously, I don't think it's the best beer that's been made this year. I'll touch on that on another episode. But yeah, it just seems to be a bit of a popularity contest. And I suppose that's the thing about Gabs. It's the Great Australian Beer Spectacular Hottest 100. There was something like 35,000 voters. So that's a pretty massive market, and it's pretty epic. There's people out there drinking up the stuff that isn't necessarily, like 15 years ago, a lot of people weren't really into that whole scene. But it's tends to be changing, and obviously with the evolution of craft beer, we're probably going to see an evolution of the craft drinker as well, craft beer drinker, and people getting their heads around probably beers are a little bit more complex and have a little bit more happening with flavours and things like that, because quite frankly, yeah, pretty smashable beer, but in regards to flavour and things like that, it's it's good. It's not anywhere near being great, but it's just a good session beer. But even again, price wise, no, it's not. It's crazy, $84 a carton. Appreciate your time. I'll finish this and move on to something probably a bit more pleasant, I think. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. Give me your thoughts and your comments, and let me know what you think. And yeah, cheers. Enjoy the Australia Day long weekend. Hope you're enjoying the Hottest 100, Triple J, obviously the biggest countdown. Probably a bit more exciting than what we've got going on here, but cheers to the Great Australian Beer Spectacular for doing what they do, and giving the punter out there the option of actually expressing what they like and getting it out there to the masses. So appreciate your time. Have a great day. Cheers, guys. Bye.